Good morning, this is Deepak. Today I bring another important topic for you: failure. You will not succeed unless you are willing to fail. That's the mantra. Never be disappointed by your failures. Work with double energy and you will reap success. Thomas Edison, he said, failure is really a matter of conceit. People don't work hard because in their conceit they imagine they will succeed without ever making an effort. Most people believe that they will wake up someday and find themselves rich. Actually, they got it half right, because eventually they do wake up. Each of us has a choice to make. Are we going to sleep life away, avoiding failure at all cost? Or are we going to wake up and realize this? Failure is simply a price we pay to achieve success. How should you judge your failures? Take a look at 7 things of failure is not. People think failure is avoidable. It is not. Everybody fails, errs, and makes mistakes. There's an old saying which says, to err is human, to forgive divine. Alexander Pope wrote these lines 250 years ago. If you are a human being, you are going to make mistakes. There are certain rules for being human. Rule number 1. You will learn lessons. Second, there are no mistakes, only lessons. 3. A lesson is repeated until it is learned. 4. If you don't learn the easy lessons, they get harder. You'll know you have learned a lesson when your actions change. Norman Cousins was right when he said, the essence of man is imperfection. So know that you are going to make mistakes. People think failure is an event. It is not. The best example I can think of is taking a test. When you give a test in the school, if you got an F, it meant you failed. But you have to come to realize that failure is a process. If you flunk a test, it doesn't mean you just failed a one-time event. The F shows that you neglected the process leading up to the test. Failure is like success. It's not someplace you arrive. Just as success is not a single event, neither is failure. Success or failure comes from how you deal with life along the way. People think failure is objective. It is not. When you err, whether you miscalculate crucial figures, miss a deadline, blow a deal, make a poor choice concerning your children, or otherwise fumble a ball during play, what determines whether that action was a failure? Failure isn't determined that way. The real answer is that you are the only person who can really label what you do is a failure. It's subjective. Your perception of and response to your mistakes determine whether your actions are failures. Did you know that entrepreneurs almost never get their first business off the ground, or the second, or the third? According to Professor Lisa Amos, the average entrepreneur is 3.8 failures before they finally make it in business. They are not deterred by problems, mistakes, or errors. Why? Because they don't see setbacks as failures. They recognize that 3 steps forward and 2 steps back still equals 1 step forward. As a result, they overcome average and become achievers. People think failure is the enemy. Most people try to avoid failure like a plague. They are afraid of it. Basketball coach Rick Pitino states, "Failure is good. It's a fertilizer. Everything I've learned about coaching, I've learned from making mistakes." People who see failure as the enemy are captive to those who conquer it. Herbert Brocknow believes, "The fellow who never makes a mistakes takes his orders from the one who does." Observe highly successful person and you'll discover a person who doesn't see a mistake as the enemy. Eloise Restart said, "When we give ourselves permission to fail, we are at the same time give ourselves permission to excel." People think failure is irreversible. It is not. There's an old saying, "It doesn't matter how much milk you spill as long as you don't lose the cow." Mistakes are irreversible. Keep everything in perspective. The problems come down when you see only the spilled milk and not the big picture. Tom Peters, he says, "If silly things were not done, intelligent things would never happen." People think failure is a stigma. It is not. When you make mistakes, don't let them get you down. And don't let yourself think of them as a stigma. Make each failure a step to success. People think failure is final. It is not. Even what may appear to be a huge failure doesn't need to keep you from achieving it. Think the story of Sergio Simon. He was the mastermind behind New Coke. Simon successfully introduced Diet Coke. He believed that Coca-Cola needed to act boldly to reverse its 20-year market decline against its rival Pepsi. His solution was to stop offering the drink that had been popular for nearly 100 years, change the formula, and offer it as New Coke. The move was a failure that lasted 79 days, and it cost the company $100 million. People hated New Coke, and it caused Simon to leave the company. Simon's problems with New Coke didn't keep him down. In fact, he doesn't see it as a failure. Years later, when asked if it was a mistake, Simon answers, "No category." A failure? No. A blunder? a misstep a bust? He replies, now if you say to me, the strategy that you guys embarked on didn't work, I'll say, yeah, absolutely it didn't work, but the totality of the action ended up being positive. Ultimately, the return of Coca-Cola Classic made the company stronger. Simon's assessment was confirmed by Roberto Guzera, the chairman and chief executive of Coca-Cola Company. He hired Simon back at Coca-Cola in 1993. Judge the result, said Guzeta. We get paid to produce results. We don't get paid to be right. Chuck Brown of Idea Connection Systems encourages trainees to think differently through the use of a mistake quota. He gives each student a quota of 30 mistakes to make for each training session. And if a student uses up all 30, he or she receives another 30. As a result, the students relax, think of a mistake in a whole new light, and begin learning. Remember, mistakes don't define failures. They are merely the price of achievement on the journey towards success. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.